Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will look at an example to understand why data cleaning is important before doing any data analysis or machine learning tasks. For this demo, I have an Excel sheet that is used to track daily expenses. This is the Excel sheet. It has a date column, an expense description column, and an amount column. For any given date, we will have one entry for any expense that we incurred. For the demo, I just kept the data minimal. It has data for one particular date and the various categories of expenses incurred on that date. As you can see, it has just two categories for now, tea and bus ticket. Now let us calculate the total expense incurred for that date using the manual methods. It is straightforward. We can just go and select all the rows for that date and it will show the sum as 140 rupees. Simple enough. Now let us try to find how much we spent for tea and how much we spent for bus ticket categories. The manual way is simple. Go and select all the rows that belong to expense description T and we see that the expense is 40 rupees. Similarly for the bus ticket, go ahead and select all the rows that has bus ticket as an expense description and the sum indicates 100 rupees, which is what we are expecting based on this data. The manual way is straightforward. As humans, when we look at the data in the Excel sheet, we easily understand that all these rows belong to expense category T and these two rows belong to the expense category bus ticket. Irrespective of how the data is represented here, whether it is in all caps, all small letters, or whether it has title case, camel case, or whether it has any special characters in between, looking at the data, we know that all these belongs to the category of T and these two belong to the category of bus ticket. So that's what makes the manual way easy. But in real world, the number of rows can be very large and it becomes difficult to check and calculate everything manually. That is why we rely on Python scripts or software to process the data. For this demo, I have a simple Python script that is used to read this Excel sheet and show the total expense and the expense per category. Let us look at the code. This is the Python code. I will not go into the details of the libraries used and the methods that we're using for this code. We will just look at a logic implemented at a high level. All it does is it imports the pandas library and it tries to read an Excel sheet named expenses.xlsx. Once it opens the file, it will compute the sum of all the values under the amount column and then it will try to calculate the sum of expenses for each of the categories and show as the category wise expense. Let us run the program in the command prompt. I'm in the command prompt and I'm already inside the virtual environment that I created and activated for running this program. I will not get into the detail of what a virtual environment is or how to activate a virtual environment. You can refer my videos on virtual environments to get details on the same. I've put the links in the description. Let me run this program, Python expense analysis.py. The total expense is correct. We have seen that in the manual way, the total expense is 140. The program also computes 140, but there is a problem in category wise expense calculation. We were expecting only two rows, one for bus ticket and the second row for T, but the program shows all of these entries as separate categories. Why? Because the same category T is considered as separate entities or separate categories by this program. When we look at the Excel sheet manually, we know that these entries represent T irrespective of how we write it, whether it is in all caps, all smalls, title case, or having any special characters before and after. Similarly, bus ticket, whichever way it is represented, we know that this represents the category bus ticket. But Python does not assume like that. Python treats them exactly as they are written. For Python, this is one category, this is another category, this is a third category, and this is a fourth category. Now you might be wondering why these two entries, T and T, both are in small case, but how come they are treated as different categories? Let's inspect that in detail. So we have T, all small, there is no trailing or leading spaces, but for the second entry, there is a trailing space. So for Python, the trailing space also matters, and that is why these are considered as different categories. Now, this is where data cleaning becomes important. We have to make sure that the entries are uniform. That means matching case, no leading spaces, no trailing spaces, and no unwanted extra spaces or characters in between. This is very much important for the code to process your data and show the right results. Here, the code is not wrong. It's just that the data is not clean. For now, let us manually fix the data by ensuring that the categories are represented properly. Let me save the Excel sheet, come back to my command prompt and rerun. There you go. The total expense is now 140, which is what we have calculated manually. And the category wise expenses have just two rows, one for bus ticket and one for tea. The expense for bus ticket is 100 and the expense for the category T is 40. That is what we have calculated using the manual way as well. So now it is clear for us that whatever data we get before doing any program based processing, we have to ensure that the data is clean. The exact cleaning steps may change depending on the project, but the need for data cleaning is always there. This was a very simple starting example to show the need for data cleaning. In real projects, we may not manually edit every row. Instead, we may write the cleaning rules in Python. We may clean the data from Excel or CSV or database or API or any other sources. All those examples we will look in future videos. For now, remember this. Before machine learning, dashboard, reports, or business decisions, data cleaning is very essential. If the data is messy, you will get messy results. That's all for this video. Hope this helped. Please let me know your feedback in comments. See you in the next video. Thank you.